I don't think there's ever been a president more disconnected from the people and the working class than Donald J. Trump. He promised running on his platform that he was going to reduce groceries, that they were too high. Well, obviously he hasn't reduced the groceries, and not only that, but they're even higher. And everybody knows this.
Trump supporter from Indianapolis here, and I just want to say that our gas prices are not down. They are higher. Comment and tell me where you're from and tell me if your gas prices are higher or lower. I'm tired of the lies.
Regrets of some folks had a few. What are we talking about here? Well, let's just take a look here. Okay, choice for a 2024 presidential election. The actual was Donald Trump winning by about 1.5 points. It rounds to a point. But take a look here. In a polled redo between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris in April of 2025, it was within the margin of error, right? Kamala Harris by a point. But look at where we are now, according to an NBC News SurveyMonkey poll. Kamala Harris wins in a redo, asking folks, essentially, if you could redo the 2024 election, how would you vote? She wins it by, get this, 8 points, a massive shift from what we saw back in November of 2024 when Donald Trump won by a point. And I will note that this sample was weighted to the 2024 result in which Donald Trump won by a point, but yet Kamala Harris in this weighted sample, get this, she wins by 8 amongst a sample that voted for Trump by 1.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and MAGA voters are swimming in a sea of regret over their past support for Donald Trump. CNN's Harry Enton just dropped a bomb on national television, showing Trump voters are furious, which confirms the GOP's worst election nightmare.
And when you put it all together, Mr. Berman, you put all of this together, what do we get? It's not just the House, it's the Senate as well. Democrats' chance to win the Senate a year ago was 19% according to Kalshi, 30% 6 months ago, and now Democrats have a 40% chance of taking back the U.S. Senate.
And that seems to be going up even more over the last few weeks.
These same MAGA voters are so pissed off with Donald Trump that they plan to take it all out on the Republicans running in the November midterms. That has Donald and his whole team scrambling like eggs in a frying pan. And if we got a do-over of the 2024 election today, Donald Trump wouldn't just lose. He'd get stomped like a narc at a biker rally. And would you honestly be surprised? His poll numbers are in the shitter. The economy is in shambles. The price of everything is through the roof. And everybody knows that Donald Trump is at the center of the Epstein files. This is longtime conservative voters realizing, oh snap, we really screwed this whole thing up now, didn't we?
I am a registered Republican. My dad was the president of American Pipeliners Association, so I came by it rather naturally. Voted for the president, supported him, but I really want to apologize. I mean, I'm looking at this awful picture of the Obamas. What an embarrassment to our country. All this man does is tell lies. He is not worthy of the presidency. He takes bribes blatantly, and now he's being a racist blatantly. They were supposed to deport the dangerous criminals. They were not supposed to go after small children, storm schools, bring terror upon, the little kids and the women and children, not just the immigrants in the school. All the children are scared. This is not a decent man. This is not an honest man. He openly takes bribes. He's pathetic as a president, and I just want to apologize to everybody in the country for supporting this rotten man.
If the 2024 election was redone, Trump would lose badly. Not because Democrats all of a sudden gain new voters. Nope. It's because Trump voters have had an obvious change of heart. Trump crossed a line with them, and they're not okay with it. They realize that this chaos is not what they wanted for themselves when they voted to own the libs just last year. Most of them thought that because they voted for Trump, somehow that they would get a free pass when it came to being deported or losing their SNAP or Medicaid benefits or losing their jobs. But when real life came knocking on the door and they realized that they had caused this suffering for their families and others, suddenly their delusional bubble popped and they saw the consequences of their actions. 1 year into Trump's second term, the mood has shifted dramatically. Voters who once cheered him on are now openly regretting it, while Democratic voters are locked in and sticking with their candidates. The patience that propped Trump up in 2024 is gone. It's happening right now. Poll after poll shows Trump underwater, his support eroding, and Republican candidates paying the price down ballot. Folks, let me tell you something. They know they're in trouble. The reason why they're trying to figure out ways to screw over voter polls, especially in the general election, is because they know that this is going to be really, really bad. And oh, by the way, the Epstein stuff, it's now coming out. And oh, by the way, you know Lindsey Graham's in the pile, Jim Jordan's in the pile, Andy Biggs in the pile. And if what they do or what they did in those files surfaces, folks, they could lose their seats as well, and they should lose their seats. But I'm telling you right now, Donald Trump is in free fall mode. Donald Trump is not doing anything that's helping anybody. And I'm going to tell you this, I'm not seeing any MAGA hats. I don't see any trucks driving around with the Trump flags on the back anymore. And the reason for that is because they're all realizing that Donald Trump is a pedophile and that Donald Trump is absolutely going to be exposed. And it's happening every single day, and more and more and more stuff continues to surface, and it's just absolutely blowing up in their face. It's ironic when the stuff that they wished on Democrats and anyone who dared to speak out against their dare leader came back to bite them in the ass. It's always an easy sell to brag about how good you're doing when you're winning, but it's a bit harder of a stretch to convince yourself and others that the suffering you've inflicted on everyone is justified when it's not. There's really nowhere else to go. MAGA has turned on Trump, and the numbers that Harry Enton points to prove it. How about that for a day of reckoning? When your own non-college educated base turns on you. What we've seen from November 2024 to now is a massive shift in this country. People are fed up. They're sick of Trump, his lies, his wars, the killing of innocent people, the government overreach and cruelty, and his complete refusal to accept any accountability on the Epstein files. He crossed a line. Trump thought that MAGA would stand by him forever, no matter what happened. But surprise, surprise, Harry Enton shot that delusion down in flames. And yeah, John Berman's quip about Harris winning the 2024 election, but we're in 2026, so it really doesn't matter, really does matter. And Harry Enton makes it clear. What a redo poll reflects is mood, a voter mood that's steamrolling straight into the November midterms. And it's abundantly clear that Democrats are sticking with their candidates, while on the Republican side, it's chaos. The GOP incumbents aren't so safe anymore. Republican candidates are getting smoked in state races, in special elections, and bleeding down ballot support. That kind of momentum is real, and Republicans know exactly why it's happening. Their own demise is tied directly to Donald Trump. Voters are pissed, the base is fractured, and the numbers back it up. And here's the thing that Republicans running for election don't really want to talk about. This voter reckoning isn't just aimed at the House. It's the Senate too. Republicans are running scared, and Harry Enton makes it clear that this momentum is real. Democratic voters are locked in, fired up, and sticking with their candidates, while Trump voters are peeling away from the GOP like bad paint. Republicans know what's coming, and they know exactly why it's happening. Their entire electoral future is tied to Donald Trump like a weight, and voters are tired of carrying that weight. And come November, if we still have free and fair elections, we're all going to see it play out in real time. This week was President's Day, a moment that's supposed to remind us what leadership is supposed to look like. And while people were talking about George Washington in theory, the reality of the presidency right now is staring us right in the face. If you got anything between your ears, you're starting to wake up and realize that Donald Trump is not your savior. Donald Trump is actually going to be what brings down the Republican Party. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.